As we continue with our NBA draft series, the next player I'm going to be talking about is going to be greatly affected by what happened due to this pandemic, and that is, of course, Obi Toppin, a guy from the University of Dayton who was on his way to being a tremendous superstar, a guy that was going to carry the Dayton, I can't remember what their mascot is, but Dayton was going to be a Final Four appearance team. Like, that was going to be my prediction. That was what I was going to put in my tournament bracket because they were going to be such a high seed. I think that they have all the tools, and I think Obi Toppin is the real deal in terms of being a college player. Now, the reason why I think this hurts him is because, like I said, the tournament makes or breaks players. I mean, we've seen guys like Mikal Bridges. We've seen guys like Jimmer Fredette. Their draft stock rises because of their potential and because of what they did in the tournament. GMs, scouts, everybody loves seeing those players do really well in the tournament. And it was going to be an interesting situation to see like what would happen with Obi Toppin if he was able to carry his team to the Final Four appearance. But nevertheless, we're here now. We have to focus on what we can control, and that is, of course, that he's going to be in the NBA draft this coming season. Now, when it comes to Obi Toppin, he's a 6'9" power forward / center from the University of Dayton. And the one thing that kind of stuck out to me is his three-point percentage. You know, shooting 43 for 103, half of those being from the old college line because of his first year. He's a sophomore, redshirt sophomore that is. And then the next ones were from the three-point line this year, which was a little bit further away, more of the FIBA three-point line, which is just a little bit shorter than the NBA, but nevertheless, it's still a lot closer to the NBA than the old college three. Now, continuing to talk about Obi Toppin, the one thing that we can say about him that is the positive is, of course, his NBA body. He has an NBA body. I think by this time, you know, from where he was last year to where he is now, like, you can see a tremendous transformation in terms of the way he's eating, the way that he's taking care of his body, the way that he's able to kind of now gain a muscular frame for him. And that's something that a lot of GMs are going to look at and be like, wow, like, this guy really cares about the game. He's really dedicated to the craft. And we're seeing that he's going to be a guy that rises up the draft boards. Even without playing in the tournament, even without having a combine, like, he is going to be rising through this NBA draft. Now, the thing with him is that he's very long, athletic, and has bounce. And I think a lot of people that I've seen in the community kind of compare him to an Amar'e Stoudemire 2.0. And then, you know, seeing him compared to Amar'e Stoudemire, if you guys haven't watched Amar'e before, watch those Phoenix Suns teams where they're playing together with Steve Nash, and you could see like a tremendous like 1-2 level connection. If Obi Toppin is able to do that, have that connection with somebody in terms of a point guard, then I think that he's going to fit well in this league. And that's one thing that I'm really curious to see what Obi Toppin's able to do, because he has always been a number one option on Dayton. He's been a number one option this year. He was he didn't really play as much. I think he only started 15 games his first year, but nevertheless, he still played in 31 games. And being a number one option this year, is he able to kind of return back and regress to maybe a third or fourth option? Because that's where I kind of see Obi Toppin being in this NBA draft and where I see him in this league. Like, he's a guy, although a very high athletic leaper, the problem that I have with him as well is that he's laterally slow. Watching games, that Dayton was playing on YouTube and just watching it, reruns and stuff like that, the one thing that concerns me about him is the fact that laterally, I don't think he's quick enough to keep up with NBA small forwards. And being 6'9", small forwards are about that height. Like, now in today's NBA, you have even small forwards being taller than that. And the problem is he's kind of in the same situation than Jonathan Isaac and Aaron Gordon, where he's kind of a tweener. You know, he's too slow to guard the small forwards, but he's also too small to be guarding the power forwards and centers. So to me, that's where I'm going to see Obi Toppin really, excel, because Amar'e Stoudemire, I believe, was 6'10", 6'11", so he was at least the height, and that's going to be the problem, and that's going to be what I'm really curious about with Obi Toppin. That's a low light, or that's a negative that I have on Obi Toppin, but the one thing that you can say about him is that he's an athletic finisher and is great finishing around the rim. From 2-point shots, he is 68%. I mean, that is amazing. Seeing all the highlights of him dunking, it just reminds you of March Madness. It reminds you of an Aaron Gordon when he was coming up. Like, that to me is what I kind of see Obi Toppin being, or Toppin. I always forget how to pronounce his name, but nevertheless, that is what I'm seeing from Obi Toppin. That's like what vibes I'm getting from Obi Toppin. A high flyer around the rim, dunks every ball that you see. Is a guy that you could potentially be enamored with if you're a team like the Charlotte Hornets, or if you're a team like, I can't even think of a team, maybe even the Golden State Warriors, depending on where they end up getting drafted. Like, he is a guy that really could take advantage of this NCAA tournament being canceled, seeing how his combine works, seeing how he's able to do, the interview process. Like, he is like, and the cool thing about Obi Toppin is that he is not a guy, he's not a diva, he's not a drama guy. He's a guy that is very basketball focused, basketball oriented, and that's something that a lot of GMs and teams appreciate about Obi Toppin. That's the thing that a lot of people appreciate about him, is that he's not over the top. He's not a diva. He's a guy that's down to earth and a guy that is really focused on basketball. And that's something that you don't really get a lot with these players, and Obi Toppin is one of them. And the one thing that kind of works against Obi Toppin at this point is the fact that he is a redshirt sophomore. Being older, guys like Kyle Kuzma, who we thought was going to be taking the next step in his career, he's kind of hit a floor. He's kind of hit a ceiling already, and that's kind of the thing that you kind of get with when you talk about older players. Like, yes, that you develop them very well. Guys like Patrick Ewing came out of the league and was very successful, but that's not the case usually. Obi Toppin, if he was a freshman this year, his draft stock would be even higher. I think he would be in comparison to James Wiseman in that factor. But the fact that he is not really that high on the draft board, and the fact that he's a little bit older, just kind of gives people cause for pause to kind of be like, well, he's already this age, like, does he really have a higher ceiling? That is something that we're going to be wondering and what we're going to be finding out, because his floor right now is very high. It's just a matter of where his ceiling's at. Is his ceiling more here or is it here? That is going to be the interesting question that we see from Obi Toppin. But the one thing that I do like about him, and I talked about at the beginning, are his three-point numbers. He's a guy that will stretch the floor. He's a guy that's, if you want to compare him to Amari, he's like an Amari Stoudemire with a three-point percentage, like a good three-pointer. And that's something that you really have to really take into account. Like, is he, if you're looking for a nice third or fourth option, like, he's there. And I think that as teams continue to look for players and continue to kind of work on who's going to be there, who's not going to be there in terms of where they're going to be drafting, especially guys like the Charlotte Hornets and whatnot. I mean, Obi Toppin could be rising up the draft boards, could be lowering on the draft boards. It just depends on, like I said, on the combine. It's going to depend on the interview process. There's a lot of things that Obi Toppin has for him, and there's also things that he has against him. And I want to know your guys' opinion on Obi Toppin. Do you guys think that he'll be a superstar? Do you guys think he'll be a star? Or do you guys think he'll be a nice complimentary role player? Because as I continue to look at this, it's the thing of he's a tweener, and that's something that a lot of NBA GMs just don't want to deal with. They don't want to deal with guys that are in between. They want to deal with a certain set of guys. Like, is he a strict power forward? Is he a strict small forward? That is something that a lot of teams and that's a lot of people have to come to that conclusion and decision, is what do we think of Obi Toppin? But anyway, guys, I want to know your guys' opinion on Obi Toppin. Do you guys think that he is an NBA superstar star or just a nice role player? I talked about this earlier, but I want to know your guys' comments and opinions in the comment section down below. But anyway, guys, like I said, my name is Bernie. I'm here on The Charge, and we're going to be doing more of these draft series coming forward these next couple weeks, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.